Dear Thai, you are present with us, always. You're amongst us, and in every person that I meet, I see Thai. You're here in a remarkable way, in every one of us. You've transmitted to us through your teaching, through the practice that you've taught us. We are your descendants, and we are your heritage. We are your inheritance. You have a lot of inheritance, dear Thai. Hello, dear brothers and sisters, dear assembly, dear well-loved Sangha. I'm so happy to be with you today. It's a wonderful happening, the French retreat. So dear older sister, Sister Chankong, and all our brothers and sisters built this Sangha. Today we're the 19th of April. No, we're in the Assembly of Stars hall in Lower Hamlet for the French retreat of 2019. That's very formal. That was the necessary bit. Today I'd like to speak to you about love. I'd like to speak to you about us, or love. There's a sutra that I like a lot. I've read a lot. It's the Lotus Sutra. And in the Lotus Sutra, it's a translation from the Mahayana tradition. There's a parable which has touched me a lot. It's the one about the poor child. The question is a question I'm putting to you. When we were very small, when did this spirit of love become born in us? When did that start happening? When we had this feeling we wanted to help others? When did that wake up in each of you? When we were very small, for sure. It started working in us. We call that bodhicitta in the Buddhist tradition. Do you remember what age you had? Try to remember. Allow memories to come up in you. Because at that time, we realized, well, were we aware that it was this love that was coming up in us? This was a spirit that started pushing us in a certain direction. And you know, all of our life has been turning in that direction, and we can never get enough. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here on earth. We're looking for something. We met this desire when we were very small. Probably we tasted this feeling when we were near our mother, you know, when we... Yes, when we were near the breast of our mother, and also we were in a paradise because we had everything we needed. So that's when this searching, this journey started. And something that has the taste of love, but where am I going to find it? And we will go together looking for love. We will try and find it. We're going to try and find love in many different directions. And we think always that somebody is going to fill up this emptiness inside. Someone is going to satisfy us so that we won't have to run anymore looking for love. once we've tasted that love, we continue to look for it. So we've been looking for this since we were very small. Have we found it? Have we found this love we've been looking for? What kind of form does it have? Maybe a flower that looked at us in the morning, in the early morning light. This young flower in amongst the fresh new leaves. Are you love that I've been looking for? I can't understand every word she's saying, it's quite difficult. I'm going to tell you a story about the poor child. He was very happy in his home. He had everything he needed. Mother, father, who were rich enough so that he had everything he needed. Yes, there was a floor so that he could, a solid floor that he could walk on. There was heat, there was running water, everything we need, food, everything that he needed. But he was pushed. This is my. I'm adding this into the Lotus Sutta. He was looking for love. This is my addition. Where are you, love? It's not enough. I have to find more. So he left. He went looking. Of course, the father was very disappointed, and the father was in despair because his child had left. And so the father went to look for the son everywhere. And the young person is trying to find love. He's searching. And everywhere he looks, he gets poorer and poorer. He's getting exhausted, tired. He has to work a lot to be able to eat. He uses all his strength to participate in life which is happening around him. And one day, his father, very tired, manages to find him. And he finds a place to rest in a big city. And he stays there. Oh, I'm not sure if she's talking about the father or the young person. Anyway, because this person has a lot of love and compassion, he's able to develop very well in a spiritual way, for being generous, for being able to take part in life. And he became a man very respected, and people came from all around to ask him his advice. But his heart still hadn't finished to look for love, until one day he came to find his father, and they found each other. And you know what happened? One day the son went past, by chance, and he was there by this beautiful house, the beautiful garden, and there were a lot of servants there. He saw it was a very rich house, and what he could see, there was a venerable man there, sitting on one could say a throne, a very beautiful chair, a very impressive seat. And so he saw these wonderful beings all around this venerable person who touched the earth before him. And so he was fascinated. He was very interested to see what was going on there. And he thought, maybe I can find work here. And so he was tempted to approach But he was rather like us. There was something in him, rather like us, something called doubt in him. He wasn't quite sure. And the doubt, do you all know about that? Doubting yourself? You recognize that? Okay, well then I can carry on. Okay. This child, well, it wasn't a child, this person, look at the way I'm dressed. The domestics around this venerable man, they're dressed so well, I don't dare approach this venerable man. I can't possibly do that. And at this moment, his father sees him. The father sees him. Oh, in fact, the father was rich, and the son is still dressed in rags. He realizes, his heart opens. He sees his son dressed like a beggar, and he says to the people by the side, "Catch that man dressed in rags." And what happens when he sees people come towards him? Given the kind of mind he has. The Buddha says the spirit is frightened of everything in the world. This person was sure that if people were coming towards him, they would be coming to try and trap him, put him in prison. So he ran away. So the father said, don't bother trying to catch him. And he said to his servants, dress like his supposed son, who was dressed in rags. Go towards him and don't tell him you're coming from me. You have to start making relationship with him very subtly. So you're going to go to him and say that there's work in the house if you'd like to come. You can come and work in the toilets, cleaning the toilets. So you can see the father knew his son very well. I'm going to give him the work which is at the lowest, so he'll feel that he can manage to do that. So allow yourself to really feel what I'm saying. Tell him that we're going to pay him money, but you're going to have to work a lot. Why? Because this son who's been trying to feel loved, he doesn't feel worthy of being loved. Often we don't feel worthy of being loved. And so the father very gently, little by little, started giving him different kinds of work. Then he gave him the work of a gardener, and then of course he has to carry all the manure. Oh, very beautiful. Thank you. I think it was a piece of grass or something went past. It was a dragon went past. Oh, now it's just lying down. That's wonderful. We can just leave it. Oh no, it was the little cat that walked past. Anyway, so here we are. Now we have this young man who, in fact, now has become older, and little by little, the father starts introducing himself to the son, dressing himself a bit like the son, and he's rather strong with his son. You should do this. You should do that. But then gradually he starts to talk more sweetly. Oh, it's not so badly done. And gradually the son starts to have a bit more courage. And it's very important to be able to really speak with sincerity, not to flatter. It's quite difficult to follow what she's saying. She's talking about flattery. Oh no, yeah. Either you're someone who says, oh yes, and you believe everything that's said to you, or you're someone that thinks, no, I'm not worthy of any of that. So the father, little by little, starts educating. he starts lifting his, making this his son feel worthy with beauty, with respect, so that this young man can have respect, so he can accept himself. So this isn't someone who doesn't have any obstacles, but this is someone who is, it's important for the father to give this son obstacles that he can get over. So little by little, he manages to rise. So one day, the father, knowing that the son is very intelligent, the father said, I need someone to... she can't think of the word in French, only in English. I need someone to take care of looking after, I think, all the stock in the warehouse. And gradually he goes up, he gets promoted and he becomes the treasurer, and then he becomes his advisor. And one day he realizes that he's... the father realizes he's really quite old now. Death is approaching. He's been playing hide and seek, and now he knows that my son is ready. He knows everything that he needed to know. So he asks for all his personnel to come, all the court. He asks all the people who have power in his house to come to him, and he says to them, "This is my son. This is my well-beloved son, and I give all my fortune and all my responsibility, I give to my son." And so he explains that the son ran away, but now he's come back and he's learned how to take care of all of this. Does this remind you of anything, or something in your own experience? I love to read Thai's poems, and I thank Sister Downham, who showed me that it's possible to read Thai's poems in front of everyone. This is going to be very difficult for me to translate because I don't have Thai's poem in English in front of me, so I'm going to do my best. I will give my voice to Thai. I'm going to read it from something from the beginning and something from the end, because it's a very long poem. Looking for the other. Looking for the other. I've been looking for you since my childhood, since my first breath. I heard your call. I've been searching for you. I've walked down so many roads, marvelous. In the pilgrimages, I've met despair, hope, and wonderful memories. And in a country very, very far off, I went off. I've crossed incredible oceans. In the highest mountains, lost in the clouds, I climbed. I have been very lonely on the sandy deserts. I have had tears in my heart. The stars in the far-off galaxies. I've left footprints. I've cried out. I felt lost in despair because I couldn't find you, because I was thirsty. In my 10 million lives, I've been trying to find the image of the one who has left me, even though I don't know the place exactly. Oh, blessed, I feel at the deeps of my heart the wonderful certainty of your presence. You can replace the name Bhagavan, because he says he's looking for Bhagavan. You can replace that with love. That's what we're looking for. Contemplating in the mirror of the full moon, I saw you. You were smiling. Oh, it was strange. The moon is shining. In one moment, everything I believed, I lost everything. And from that moment, at every moment that followed, there was nothing lost, nothing to find. Every flower, every stone, every leaf looks at me and recognizes me. And I can see a smile, the smile. Have you recognized this? Have you recognized your path? Through the voice of our teacher, Tai. So, have you found your path, your treasures? We found mindfulness. We found stopping. We found people all around us, people full of love, kindness, contemplation. Do you know that? Have you recognized that? That this path, we are all on this path. No matter what spiritual tradition you are in, or no spiritual tradition. Have you heard that? Have you understood? There's another story, rather similar, and I'd like to read that to you, or to tell you. Still, say from the Lotus Sutra. Two friends meet after a long time of not seeing each other. One is very poor, and the other is very rich. They talk to each other, and they tell all their stories of their life to each other, and they listen to each other with mindfulness and a lot of love, with gratefulness as well, that they found each other. It's so wonderful to find each other again. They spend a wonderful evening together, and the rich person speaks to the person who's very poor, very simple, and then they go to sleep, and in the morning the rich person, he has something to do. He has to leave, and he doesn't want to wake up the friend who's still sleeping. So he feels abandoned. This is me now, I'm adding things. He's learnt how to look with mindfulness, to have be confident. He's learnt that he's a Buddha to be, that he's going to become a person who is woken up. And one day, maybe he's learned walking meditation like the Buddha. Maybe he's learned how to live like we do here. Have you noticed that? We thought we knew how to breathe. We thought we knew how to walk, and we start again. We thought we knew how to sit, and suddenly it becomes new. Everything is new and full of love and beauty. So this friend has been taught all these things, and in the morning he realizes he can't wake up his friend, but he put some jewels in his pocket, some jewels. So he thinks, my friend is very, very poor. If I leave the jewels just like that, he'll think that maybe a thief has left some jewels near him, and he'll be frightened to take them. And so he sews the jewels into the lining of his into his jacket. What would you like jewels? Oh, there were rubies, diamonds, and wonderful precious stones. So he hides them in the lining. And so this poor friend, he will be able to live easily and with happiness for the rest of his life without any worries. He won't have any worries for the future. Isn't that wonderful? So when the poor friend woke up, he realized that the rich friend had disappeared. He was so sad because he would have liked to have said goodbye. He's sad. And you know, he doesn't realize that in the lining of his vest he has the most wonderful jewels. And so he continues his life as almost a beggar, just searching. And so the rich man, one day he meets again the poor man, and how can it be? You're still like a beggar. I left you everything you needed, but you didn't find it. And then he discovers that in the lining there are these jewels here. Thank goodness he didn't throw his jacket away. It's true, it's true. It's true. Well, when I first read this story, I thought, oh my God, he might throw that jacket away. I shouldn't make you laugh about stories about the Buddha, but my ancestors in me, they're comedians, you know, and I love to make you laugh. So sorry, please pardon me, dear Buddha. I'm saying this sincerely. So what happened? He found those jewels because he met his rich friend again. He found those jewels. He found his voice, his way, and he came out of poverty. For me, reading this story, reading this teaching of my teacher, the great teachers, monastic and lay teachers. I was a lay friend. I was a poor person searching. I had my children, my parents. I was always well loved. I was very lucky. But I was still searching. Where are you hiding yourself? Love, where are you? I couldn't have enough. There was this kind of searching, looking. And then I met the Sangha. And the Sangha taught me how to sit, how to stand up, how to breathe, how to walk. They taught me treasures like touching the earth, where I could just let go into the earth, all my difficulties. And that came down into the lining of my jacket. Do you understand? Those were the jewels which we have in the lining of our vest. Be careful of your jackets. Don't be careful when you change your jacket, because they're in your pocket. So I can have another word for the pocket or the lining of your jacket. It's the alaya, your the conscious, the store consciousness. Everything has entered. Everything is in you. So in the lining of your jacket there are treasures. In your deep consciousness you have treasures. No more searching, no more being like a beggar. So I can just tap my pocket. I can find my treasures. Those treasures are still there, given to me by Tai and the Buddha. We are not hungry ghosts. We are not lost beings searching for love. Inside of us, as Taphu had told us just this morning, our dear brother, he told us that inside us, all of us, we have everything we need. The Master Linchi, he looked at all of us. He said, looking at all his disciples, I only see Buddhas. Can you hear that? I only see Buddhas. Let go of your doubt. Let go of your suffering from the past. We have practices to transform us. We have practices to learn how to reconcile. The 5 mindfulness trainings, they teach us how to live our life more fully, in a more marvelous way. I was very touched by what Sister Chenkong said. I recognize so many faces which are here who have been coming for so long. That really made me feel very happy. It's so wonderful that you've all come here to be with us. How can we have confidence in ourselves? How can we heal our inner child who has so much doubt, who is running with our arms outstretched, Mother, Mother, Father, Father. I'm not satisfied. I am never completely at peace. By loving whatever happens. A dear friend said to me, he really had had a very strong insight. I'm not going to say his name because we don't say that. He had an insight. He realized that his act of everyday life when he realized that there were certain acts that weren't very healthy, he asked people, what should I do? And these experts told him, all the people who were around him, all these experts told him, what you've been doing up until now, it hasn't been so great, what have you been doing? And he asked me, in front of everyone in Lille, he said, Sister Elizabeth, when love is there, what do we do so that it can stay there? So that we can keep that love. Of course we can breathe, we can walk, and I told him, whatever happens, whatever anyone says to you, love is always the answer. And I allowed him to leave like that. I hope that worked. For him, for me, because I gave him a direction, but I have to practice that too. Love is the only answer. So I think this man went through a lot of criticism. He was criticized by a lot of people, and also he realized that what he'd been doing up until then wasn't the healthy way of life. So she's going to read a text from Thai. We're going to listen to Sound of the Bell first. Our true inheritance. The cosmos is full of precious jewels. I will give you a handful of them this morning. Every moment that you are alive is a jewel, which is splendid. It contains the sky, the earth, water, and clouds. It needs you to be able to breathe so that miracles can appear. Suddenly, you'll hear the birds singing, the pine trees swaying, the white clouds, and the smile of your loved one. You, the person who is the richest person in the world, who has begged everywhere to be able to live. Stop being a poor child. Reclaim your true inheritance. Benefit from this inheritance in this present moment. Let go of the torrent of despair and take hold of life. That's a poem by Tai. I'd like to benefit from this occasion. We were very busy at Maison d'Inspire, our center in Paris, because we've been trying to find a new place near the brothers' new house, and we're trying to sell our old house. We haven't had time to be able to send you our yearly letter, our newsletter, to tell you how precious you all are to us. How much you support us by your presence, by your practice. And everything you do in society by bringing your financial help and your smiles, your practice. You've given so many donations. Thank you so much. You are so generous. So let's continue. We're going to continue our life in peace and joy. So Maison d'Inspire is still open for you, so don't hesitate. Please come and visit us. Come and visit us. We love to have sanghas, whole sanghas who come and spend some time with us. Whatever your worries, come to have a deep listening for if ever you have difficulty in your sangha, so that we can help you. So we can help you look with new eyes and at your difficulties with more love, more understanding. It's together that we can touch understanding and love. I think I'm going to stop there. I think that's enough. I wish for you a wonderful retreat, a lot of happiness, love and understanding. And if there's someone snoring in your room, remember one thing. The person who is snoring is protecting you. It makes you laugh. Look back into the very ancient time of the Stone Age people. Are you ready? You make a great jump into the past, into the Stone Age time, because it was very important to protect ourselves. There were all those wild beasts around. That when they saw our bodies sleeping, they think, oh, wonderful for a meal. So our ancestors have been through so much suffering, the most terrible suffering. They went through that. And we have come through that suffering. That's the proof that we can get through so many incredible things, so much suffering. This is, I'm getting a little elderly. So we can get through difficult things. So Mr. and Mrs. Stone Age man and woman, when they were sleeping, they made a big circle. I'm not just, is it not any old story? This is our inheritance. Do you remember? We put the most fragile people in the middle, the mothers and their babies, and then these very solid men around, and the very, very solid men all around the outside, with the fire in the middle. And we snored. And we snored as much as possible, as loudly as possible, so that no tiger or mammoth, saber-toothed tiger would come and eat us. Any terrible animal. It was very dangerous. Oh, so the noise went up and down, up and down. So why did we snore like that? Remember, with compassion, to protect our group, protect our community, our children. We snored with all our heart, making as much noise as possible, taking our turns, one after the other. So we carry this in us. This is our seed, a seed in our consciousness that is still there. And it continues. It's still continuing. Sometimes we have so many worries. We think we have difficulties and we won't be able to get through them. In our family, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We are really suffering. We are in our cave. Before we lived in caves, and even bears didn't come in. And now you are so lucky. You are sleeping right next to someone who's snoring. So you can be very conscious. It's an act of protection. Have you seen? I'm not laughing at all. I'm very serious. This is a protective act. And the person who has the most responsibility, they will be snoring with all their heart. So you'll turn to the person who's snoring and you'll say, "Thank you. Thank you for continuing to protect me. And remember what I've told you. Whatever happens, thoughts of love." Another very important phrase. I'm very happy. Well, Tai gave me everything, and now I'm passing it on to you. To look well, we are capable of getting through all obstacles. Nothing can stop our love. Nothing can stop our love. So I thank you for your patience, to have listened to me. Thank you so much.